In the beginning of Japanese mythology, the universe exists as a silent, formless void. There is no land, no life, and no death, only an undifferentiated, lightless fluid. From this formless state emerged two primordial deities, Izanagi and Izanami. They stand on the floating bridge of heaven, a structure that establishes the first physical division in existence by separating the heavens from the empty ocean. They are given a specific task and a tool to complete it, a jeweled spear called Ame no Nuboko. Standing on the bridge, they lower the blade into the dark water and begin to stir. As they lift the spear, the heavy brine dripping from its tip crystallizes in the mist, piling up to form the first solid landmass. By pulling rock from the water while standing in the clouds, the deities establish the physical limits of the world. Each island becomes a fixed point, defining exactly where the ocean ends and the land begins. They descend to this newly formed land and spend an uncounted era populating it. Together, they create the deities of the sea, the wind, the mountains, and the rivers, turning bare rock into a complex, functioning ecosystem. Their streak of creation breaks with the birth of Kagutsuchi, the fire deity. He is a catastrophic anomaly in their perfect process. The uncontrolled heat of bringing a god of fire into the world severely burns Izanami during childbirth. Her body is marked by the flames, her spirit turns feverish, and she passes away. In a world that had only known continuous life, this is the very first death. The ultimate act of creation carried the mechanism for its own destruction. Izanagi is left alone on the islands they built, facing the reality that the creation of the world also introduced its end. Driven by grief, Izanagi leaves the world of the living and descends into Yomi. This is the Japanese land of the dead, an absolute lightless expanse of stillness where the living are not meant to follow. When he finds Izanami's voice in the dark, she tells him she will ask the gods of Yomi for permission to return. She gives him a single instruction. He must wait in total darkness, and he must not look at her. He waits, but the silence eventually becomes unbearable. He snaps a tooth from his wooden comb, strikes a flame, and lifts it as a torch. The sudden light reveals his wife as she has become in the dark. She is rotting flesh, consumed by maggots, with 8 thunder deities writhing inside her decaying form. By illuminating the dark, Izanagi violates the necessary separation between the living and the dead. He breaks his promise, and in doing so, transforms the memory of his wife into a nightmare. Shamed and furious, Izanami commands the hideous women of the underworld to chase her husband. Izanagi flees in panic through the cavernous dark. To stall his pursuers, he throws pieces of his clothing behind him. His black headdress turns into a cluster of grapes, and his comb sprouts into a thicket of bamboo, buying him just enough time to reach the exit. He reaches the slope leading up to the living world and seals the passage by rolling a massive boulder across the entrance. This act establishes the second great boundary of the universe. Standing on opposite sides of the stone, the two gods have their final exchange. Izanami vows to strangle 1,000 living souls every single day to avenge her shame. Izanagi answers with a cold calculation. If she takes 1,000, he will build 1,500 birthing huts every single day to replace them. This exchange is the mythological engine of mortality. It is the permanent reason why birth and death exist in a constant balance, and why the living outnumber the dead. Izanagi escapes the underworld, but he returns covered in kegare, the deep spiritual impurity and rot contracted from the land of the dead. He cannot bring the taint of death into the world he created. Left unaddressed, this impurity would poison the living world and destroy its perfection. To protect the world, he steps into a pristine river. He washes the darkness from his flesh, letting the underworld dissolve into the rushing current. This act of bathing is the origin of the foundational Shinto ritual of misogi, the cleansing of worldly impurities through water. For the ancient Japanese, surviving reality required enforcing a third invisible boundary, the strict separation of the spiritually pure from the defiled. As Izanagi concludes his cleansing, he makes deliberate, final movements. He scoops water to wash his left eye, then his right eye, and finally his nose. Even in purification, he creates. From the water washing over his left eye, Amaterasu, the sun goddess, is born. From his right eye comes Tsukuyomi, the moon god, and from the washing of his nose emerges Susanoo, the storm god. Izanagi tasks these three final deities with ruling the heavens. This establishes a celestial bureaucracy above mankind, completing the mythological hierarchy of the world. The physical shape of the islands, the math of mortality, and the spiritual laws of purity were all defined by the tragic boundaries drawn by a single broken love.